Does it get any more Les Paul than that? Thank you for joining us today on the Guitar YouTube. I've got something very, very special that I want to talk to you about. Now, this is a couple of weeks old at this point from when it was released, but due to their very limited numbers of 130 only made the worldwide, actually, we never got a chance to get a hold of the very first one that came in because it just flew out the door. What we're going to be talking about today is the Gibson Custom Shop 1959 Jeff Beck Yardburst guitar. Now, that's, as I mentioned, this one that's in my lap. There's only 130 of these actually made worldwide. And what this is made to replicate and lovingly reproduce, this is a 1959 Gibson Les Paul, that Jeff Beck, world famous guitar who unfortunately we lost over the past few years. This was the guitar that he played in the Yardbirds, which was one of his first musical endeavours. Now, the link to this guitar will be down in the description below, and all the specs and whatnot will be there too, because what I want to focus on with this particular demo is just the sounds and the sort of fury that come from this guitar. Obviously, the 1959 Les Paul is considered by a lot the total holy grail of guitars. And actually, there was only ever a kind of specific amount of them ever made as well, which makes them that much more rare too. So let's just dive right in and check out some of the sounds that we're getting out of this guitar. Start just on a bit of a clean here, and then we'll kind of just work our way through it and just let's enjoy how this thing sounds. So along with the absolute meticulous attention to detail with the finish, which certainly for a 59 Les Paul, this is quite an interesting looking one as well. It's, you know, it's quite understated. It's not super flamey and all that. And compared to photos of Jeff Beck's actual original as well, it is a really accurate recreation of it. Looking into these pickups as well, that's sort of my favourite part of this particular guitar. Actually, the neck as well. The neck feels absolutely amazing too. It's a nice kind of chunky 59 neck. But we're looking at these pickups here. These are custom Bucker Gibson Custom Shop pickups. But particularly they are unpotted, which means they are really microphonic. They're actually, I think that's one of the reasons that is really helping that I was hitting that kind of big, huge sustain at the start of the video as well, which I'll just show you how easy that is to replicate as well, because I hit it about about 10 times before I even started filming. Now the amp I'm going through as well, it's a Victory Jack head and cab. It's quite a lot of gain kind of dialed in, maybe just kind of at about the 1 o'clock setting there. Got a couple of pedals going through as well, just a delay and a reverb. But the fact that these are, as I was saying, kind of microphonic, you're going to get a little bit of kind of more unruly sort of sounds out of them. Even if I turn off everything, I can kind of tap on the pickups there, and even if I speak into it like this, with a bit more gain on it, you're going to hear it a little bit more. But basically, it just means it's acting more of like, almost kind of like a microphone. You know, it's not going to be like really reserved and just picking up just the string noise. You're going to get a lot more kind of going on, which I think when you throw a bit of gain on with it, as well as I showed with the kind of lead stuff as well, this thing just like absolutely goes crazy when you stick a bunch of gain on and really start to kind of dig into it. See what I mean about that being like really, really squealy and quite unruly. But, you know, of course, a bunch of the other sort of bits that went into this guitar, as I mentioned, the sort of meticulous look at the wear and all the aging and whatnot done by the Murphy Lab. Those guys are just doing absolutely incredible work. The neck feels amazing. We've got an Indian rosewood board. And actually, the kind of key thing about this guitar is that it's exceptionally lightweight when you're comparing it to, you know, kind of classic Les Pauls. People always talk about that like super weighty mahogany that they want, but with this guitar it's actually probably on par with like say a Stratocaster or something like that as well. So certainly that myth of only Les Pauls that are heavy sound good is completely out the window, because this sounds absolutely incredible. And of course it wouldn't be an anniversary sort of, you know, commemorative model if it didn't come with a couple of extra little bits in the case as well, which I think it's rude not to show, which of course it's a lovely Gibson Custom Shop case there as well, but you are getting like a commemorative certificate with a photo of Jeff there with the actual guitar. But an extra little cool thing as well is it comes with the strap that actually is in the photo too, which I guess for collectors is just that extra little bit of kind of niceness that you're going to get with it. A couple of extra little bits too from the custom shop also. But I think that's one of the things that I particularly like about these models. You know, they are Gibson Custom Shop, and they're ever so slightly sort of higher up than the standard line that you're going to be getting with Gibson. But the fact that they are such limited models and the attention that's gone into them is so accurate to the original guitar that it is meant to be reproducing. I think it's, for anybody who's like really into that stuff, then this is just an absolute dream with them as well. But certainly if you want to get that sound, maybe check out some unpotted pickups, because they are absolutely killer. I'm going to just kind of cycle through a couple of extra sounds of this as well, just to hear exactly what this guitar is doing. So one of the key things that I'm getting from this guitar, not only is it kind of like, it almost directs me the way that I want to play or what I should be playing on it. There's kind of, certainly with a Les Paul, I feel like that. You can let me know in the comments if you're exactly the same as well, but certain guitars sort of demand certain something out of the player for it, and certainly I feel like that when I sit down with a Les Paul. But one thing that I'm finding with this one, and it's actually maybe just a slight change of mindset towards Les Pauls in general, but even when you've got your full gain on, the dynamic response that you're getting from this guitar is just absolutely insane. The last, you know, kind of sound that I was just doing there as well, cycling through the cleans, going to the crunch, going to the full distortion, it just really shows. But even if I'm just to hang on the clean here, I'll go between the different pickups as well, and I'll just vary my touch just ever so slightly on some of these chords and some of these notes, because that's where I think this guitar is really shining. And yeah, it's just, again, a kind of psychological thing that's happening with that, where it's just playing that kind of stuff on this guitar is just really singing. But I definitely think with the kind of PAF inspired custom buckers in there as well, that you're not going to just be in total rock mode the entire time. And yeah, I think that's kind of everything I really wanted to say about this guitar. I mean, there's tons and tons of information about this and when Jeff played it, and certainly some players that will be playing kind of a little bit more kind of Jeff Beck inspired stuff on it. But I just wanted to just get it in my lap, kind of spend a little bit of time with it, and just show you some of the sounds that it can do, because the biggest surprise for me was just the kind of different sauce that I was getting out of those pickups compared to something like, you know, a standard Les Paul that does have those potted pickups in them as well. Now, I'm not, I think, going to suggest that every pickup should be unpotted, because certainly that sort of unruly feedback and whatnot that you're going to get out of it is maybe not the most desirable thing for everybody. But, you know, kind of when you take those, like, I guess you kind of remove the safety net a little bit of like the pottedness on those humbuckers to just have something that's just a little, kind of a little bit more hair and a little bit more characteristics to it. I'm sort of throwing out every sort of adjective that I can here, but I would definitely suggest that if you do have the opportunity to play a guitar that has unpotted pickups in it, definitely check that out. And hey, if you're a huge Jeff Beck fan as well, you're definitely going to want to try this guitar out. But let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. And if you haven't already as well, consider giving us a like and a subscribe, because it really does help the channel. But till next time, I've been Kieran. This has just been a very quick look at the Gibson Custom Shop Jeff Beck 1959 Les Paul in Yardburst. Have a great day.